Find massmoney.com, Gem Plumbing, and by Golf.
On Boston's home for sports, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Swinging a high fly ball, center field. That should do it. Eaton's underneath. He's there. He's got it. And the Red Sox finish off a 4-game sweep here in Baltimore. They win it 3-2. They go 7-1 on the trip. They are 15 over 500. Lose since the 1st of July. They are 33-16, the best record in the American League.
Well, on this trip here, there's a lot of close games. You end up going 7-1 because you're making big defensive plays, base running plays, obviously big hits at the plate. 2 or 3 months ago, this 7-1 trip easily was 4-4. You just started giving games away. Now all of a sudden you're pulling games out. This is an impressive road trip here for this team as they head home.
Well, Lou Merloni's got that right, so I'll make this pretty simple at the start of the baseball hour, and I urge you, I urge you to give me your thoughts today, 617-779-0985. We'll open up the phone lines right away because the Red Sox have played 2 games, not one, since we last spoke. 2 games that they won by identical 3-2 scores. They sweep the 4 games from the Orioles. They go 7-1 on the road trip. They are now 15 games over 500 for the first time since 2021, which is also the last time they made the playoffs. Which brings me to this, Jimmy Stewart and everybody else out there. If I were you, I'd leave your October open. Okay, that's what I'm going to tell you tonight. Leave your October open. This team is going to go to the playoffs. The only question is in what capacity and what seed. That's the only question. And if you want to say that we've been dumping on the Red Sox for the large majority of this season, I would say that's true. Who's going to deny that? For a good half of this year, the Red Sox underachieved. They didn't play up to their capabilities. They made stupid mistakes. They lost a crap ton of one-run games early in the year, many of them the result of stupid mistakes that cost them victories. You know what they did on this 8-game road trip to New York and Baltimore? They won 4 games by 1 run. They played 4 games that were 1-run games. They won them all. They won by scores of 4-3, 3-2, and 3-2 in Baltimore. Their other victory was 5-0. They won a 1-0 game in New York. That was Brian Bayo against Max Fried. That was a big boy win. And you know what? If I really wanted to, I was going to say push the envelope, but if you wanted to, you could also consider the Friday night opener against the Yankees or the Thursday night opener against the Yankees, because that was also a 4-game series. You could consider that a 1-run win as well. Because you remember what happened in that one? 4-3 going into the 9th inning, and Roman Anthony hit a 2-run homer. So you padded that game in the 9th. You won it late. But the point is, you won them all in the 9th inning, basically. Whether it was your closer, whether it was your defense, whether it was Ceddanne Rafaela, whether it was Roman Anthony, you hit home runs in the 9th inning, or you closed out the bottom of the 9th. You won 1-run games, and you now are in the driver's seat with regard to a playoff spot in the American League. Now, I wouldn't be me if I told you I didn't have things to worry about. And I think you also have things to worry about, some of which we'll get to during the course of this show. But I'm going to sit here and tell you, I think they're going to the playoffs. I think that that's pretty much been decided. If they don't go to the playoffs at this stage, it would be kind of a massive fail. September starts on Monday. Labor Day weekend's here. The Pirates are in town over the weekend. Paul Skeens or no Paul Skeens. The Red Sox are up 5.5 over the first wild card contender that's not in the playoffs. In other words, Boston, New York, and Seattle are in. Boston's lead over Kansas City, which is the first team out, is 5.5. The Red Sox are within 3.5 of first place in the American League East. So the first place in the division is still in play. Alex Cora, in fact, talked a little bit about, I got to look for my notes here now, Jimmy, but Alex Cora talked a little bit about where the team stands, what the expectations are. Jimmy, if we could go to Cora number 8, please. This was Alex Cora when asked about, well, I'll tell you what, let's do it this way first, and then I'll get to your calls. Again, I already see you lining up, 617-779-0985. But let's start with Cora overall on the team's performance on this road trip, again, during which the Red Sox went 7-1.
He said after the game last night, he said it's not a one-man show. Kind of everybody contributes. Is today's game kind of perfect example?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's contributing. Today, we accomplished a lot of things. Stay away from Hammy, stay away from Jaron, a full off day. That helps, in the long run. And I know people hate it, but it's part of it. That's the way we're going to manage it. We're going to be smart. We have one goal, it's to win the division, but at the same time, we have to take care of our players.
Okay, so Alex Cora says, I know people hate it when he gives guys rest. Today, Steven Matz closed out the game, which, again, we can get to some of that as well. Part of the reason Matz closed this game today is because Aroldis Chapman had to get up 2 nights ago when Justin Wilson got into trouble in the 9th inning. And, again, as a result, now Chapman pitched last night, but effectively, if you go backwards, he essentially pitched 3 days in a row. So because of that, Chapman wasn't available today. But they closed it out. So at the end of the day, whatever path Cora chooses, he's going to be judged, and they are going to be judged on one thing and one thing only. Did you win or did you lose? And did it work? And did you get there? So people aren't going to be mad today because Cora hit the jackpot. The Red Sox won. Garrett Crochet didn't even give him that great an outing. More on him later. And they were able to rest a bunch of their starters, put righties in the lineup. Rob Refsnyder came off the disabled list, no rehabilitation assignment, his first 2 at-bats, single and home run. So this is how it's going for your baseball team. And you should be happy about it. The only other thing I'll add is those of you who wanted to sell at the trading deadline, I wonder if you've now rethought your perspective at that particular point. I was one of those people that wanted to add, and before you tell me, as a caller did today, that we shouldn't look back on the deadline, the Red Sox are in a good spot, everything going forward, I would tell you, I think it's exactly the opposite. The stakes now are even higher. If the Red Sox had done more at the deadline, would we be looking at them now and saying, boy, a World Series is in the cards? Because I'll tell you what, they can get there. They're as good as anybody in the American League. Their first 3 starters are pitching as well or better than any 3 in baseball. And that doesn't mean I think that I'm not predicting anything. I'm just telling you where they are and what the reality is. Their first 3 starters are pitching as well as anybody in baseball. Roman Anthony has effectively replaced Rafael Devers in the lineup. And the back-end guys in their bullpen, their 8th and 9th inning guys, Whitlock and Chapman, are as good as any tandem in the game. So you tell me, you buying in or not? TV ratings are apparently up, which suggests that many of you have bought in. I hear from a lot of people who tell me that they find the team entertaining, they find the team likable, all of which relates to winning. The Red Sox have 75 wins. They have 27 games to go. If they go 15-12, over their final 27, they'll win 90. And with the extra wild card, 90 will get them in. Guaranteed. The only real question now is, are they going to be the number 1 wild card, the number 2, the 3rd wild card, or the division winner? If they don't get into the playoffs at this stage, massive fail. Massive fail. Jimmy, did we just play number 7 or number 8? We played 8.
We played Cora number 8.
Okay, if we could, let's play number 7. If we could do that too, please.
You talked yesterday about how big it would be to get this game, have the great road trip, and then head back home. How do you feel now that it's over?
Feel great. It's hard to do. It's hard to beat a team in the big leagues 4 times in a row. It's hard. And to go 7-1, New York, Baltimore, against the pitching that we face, was a great road trip. And, tomorrow should be fun,
So Cora obviously talking about getting back in front of the home fans at Fenway Park, and that's another thing that we should mention. In fact, Jimmy, if we could pull up Garrett Crochet number 4. Remember that this Red Sox team has been dominant at home of late. I mean, when I say of late, really for the balance of the season. The Red Sox have been very, very good at home, and that started to click right around the Tampa Bay series. They won 10 in a row before the All-Star break, but all of a sudden they became the home team that they usually are, particularly when they're good. When the Red Sox are good and they are playoff caliber and a threat to win, they are very difficult to beat at Fenway Park. Now they went on the road and won 7 out of 8. 3 of them at Yankee Stadium, 4 of them in Baltimore.
Which, Tony, gets them to 34 and 35 on the road now.
Okay, so again, the old adage is play 500 on the road, play 500 on the road, 600 at home, you're in the playoffs.
They're 41 and 25. That is 620 at home.
Okay, so that'll get you in, and that's where they are. Garrett Crochet, number 4, Jimmy. And Crochet went 6 innings today, did not get the win. He's pitched better, believe me when I tell you that. But at the end of the day, they won another one of his starts. Here's Garrett Crochet.
You guys get out of here with a sweep, big road trip, and then coming home tomorrow.
Yeah, it's nice. All year it's, road trips haven't been kind to us. So it's nice that when it matters here down the stretch that we're making it happen.
Okay, so I don't know. Maybe you feel now like the Red Sox don't have to be at home to win. I still want to be at Fenway Park. If I'm them, if you can get that top wild card spot, at a minimum, you will play that wild card series at Fenway Park. So when the playoffs start, it'll be here. If you catch Toronto, you'll get a bye. You'll get to rest your entire roster and staff. Now, some people out there might think that that's a bad idea.
It could be.
I will tell you it's not. Jimmy, I know you're one of them. And I'm not mocking you for it. There are people who say you're better off playing. For example, if you remember, and I'm going back now, in 2007, the Colorado Rockies had an unbelievable finish to the season. I think they went like 16-1 or something in their final 17 games. Then they get into the playoffs and they swept 2 people in a row. And then they had a layoff.
They had like a 9-day layoff because the Red Sox went 7 with the Indians.
Then they had to play the Red Sox and they get swept. So all of a sudden the Rockies couldn't win. I would tell you going into the playoffs, the rest is better. Once you're in the middle of it, you certainly don't want to have your momentum disrupted. I think there's a difference there. But the way it is right now, the Red Sox are going to have to fight for the division, and I don't think anybody's taking any time off anytime soon. So let me kick it off tonight with Barney, who's in Brockton. But again, I see a number of you lined up, 617-779-0985. Barney kicks us off. Barney, don't make any plans for October, pal, because I think there's going to be baseball.
Maz, I'm right there with you. Like they should totally be in, but I feel like over the past couple of weeks, the way the players have been executing, like that's where we want them to be. But this last month of baseball, especially against the competition that they're going to be facing, Alex Cora needs to earn his money. And the team's going to go one way or the other based on how Cora can motivate, how he can keep them disciplined. I just feel like one way or the other, if it's good, he deserves the credit. If it's bad, he deserves the blame. But Alex Cora has to, not to say carry, but he's got to get the Red Sox to the finish line.
Yeah, so Barney, I'm not worried about them getting to the finish line in terms of their focus and things like that, if that's what you're getting at, because I think right now they are as locked in as they've been pretty much all year long. I just think that they've turned a corner mentally and in terms of their overall play. And by the way, let me just say, they tried to give the game away last night. We haven't talked about last night's game, which we'll get to when we come back, because it was a dramatic finish in Baltimore. Ceddanne Rafaela with a home run in the top of the ninth, and then Chapman comes out of the bullpen, seals it up with a tremendous battle in the final at-bat of the game, which was a one-run game at the time. One swing of the bat changes everything. But the Red Sox did try to give the game away. And there are still those moments where you look at them and say, boy, they're still dumb, or they still do dumb things. They're not as dumb as they used to be. It's sort of like as teenagers grow up, they figure out a little bit more along the way, and you say, oh, well, there's a sign of growth. But then something stupid happens, like they back the car into a mailbox, and then you say, well, but the stupid stuff is still there too. I also look back at the trade deadline and I say, if they had made a bigger move, would we be talking about it all in more aggressive terms right now? Would we be talking about them winning the World Series, not just getting there? Or do you believe if they just get there, they have a chance? Because they can get there. Let me tell you that. They are as good as anybody in the American League. Right now, they're pitching better than anybody in the American League. And they're finding ways to win games instead of ways to lose them. So, 617-779-0985. We'll hit on last night's game as well. I see more of you there, so we'll get to your calls as well. Chris, Ron, and Matthew. We'll be back momentarily. Don't go anywhere on the Baseball Hour.
to see you again, Sadon. We saw so much of this, but it was about 5 or 6 weeks ago. Big hits late. I'm sitting here wondering if he's going to put a bunt down, Obi. And he's going bridge left center.
He's got a feel for the big moment, that kid. He does it again, his 15th home run, and the Red Sox are on top in the ninth.
I thought they would maybe give him a pitch. He takes the fastball, figuring, okay, maybe with one strike, maybe they'll make him bunt here, but he gets something elevated. And again, Obi, we've been talking about the last 4 or 5 days as a whole, like the improved swing. He is keeping his body back. He is using his hands, and he's starting to do some damage, and this one here is a big one.
That was last night. Great finish. Red Sox are down 2-1 going into the ninth. Brian Bayo again pitched a terrific game. The Red Sox defense kind of screwed him. Rafaela dropped the ball in center field. And I know people will look at the Rafaela play early in the game. He came running in, started to dive for the ground, had the ball in his glove, and then as he landed, kind of buckled his wrist and the ball popped out. I would tell you, I don't think Rafaela needed to dive on that ball. I don't. And I think if he had just come in and caught it and stayed on his feet, no problem. But everybody dives when they don't have to. The ball came out. Now, it wasn't an error. He's a terrific outfielder. We all know that. Just catch it. Just catch it. You didn't have to dive. The second one was a miscommunication between him and Duran, which really was stupid. One of those stupid plays that makes you look at the Red Sox and say, what the hell? They won the game anyway. And then Aroldis Chapman came in and nailed it down with a final at-bat that I want to spend more time on here momentarily, but I see a lot of you lined up and waiting patiently, so let's get right to your calls. Chris is in Cohasset. Chris, what do you got?
Hey, Tony. I just got a question here. Why is Roman Anthony leading off so much? Is that the right place for him to be hitting in the lineup? I know he's got the OBP. I want a guy like him batting somewhere in the 2, 3, or 4 spot. I'm curious where you think he's going to settle in the lineup long-term for this Red Sox team. Thank you. Love the show.
Okay, so, Chris, I understand. I get a lot of calls about this, and people want to know why Anthony's hitting first, and I get it. Because a bat like him, you want in a run-producing sort of spot in the batting order. And, but the way the analytics work now and the way the world works in baseball now is you get your best hitter as many at-bats as possible. So, do I agree with you? Yes. Today, August 28th, is it a hill I'm willing to die on? My answer is no. I wouldn't mess with him right now. What's he got, 5 home runs in his last 8 games or something like that?
Yeah.
Again, he hit a couple in New York. He hit a couple in Baltimore. So the kid's raking. And he's getting on base as much or more than any guy in the sport, pretty much. So long term, yes, I want him hitting second or third. For the people who are my age, I want him hitting third. For the people who are Jared Carrabis' age and where they now bat the best hitter second, they want him second. Whatever it is, fine. No problem. I'm not going to quibble over it. But I just want him in there. So right now, I'm not going to put up a fight about it. And whatever's working, go with it. I'm sorry. Ron in Medford. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, hey, Tony, I'm with you as far as that trade deadline goes. I mean, I've been saying this for like 3 weeks, that if this team does end up getting on a roll because they have been playing such good ball and they get into the playoffs, I mean, if they get close to getting to a World Series or get to one and you're missing that right-handed bat or that pitcher that could have put them over the top, and the fact that they obviously didn't believe in them enough to spend the money and do that, what a shame that would be to waste. They almost look like a team of destiny in a way.
Yeah, so, Ron, they're starting to get that feel to them again because that's the way these last couple of games has gone, or have gone, rather. Obviously, Rafaela homered in the 9th inning last night. Chapman is having a special year. Frankly, a career year. You don't find many guys who get to 37 who threw 105 miles an hour earlier in their career and are still performing at a high level and, frankly, getting better. I think the last guy who threw that hard, who got to this stage and got better or maintained it, was Nolan Ryan. I mean, again, totally apples to oranges, but that's what it feels like now with Chapman. He's a freak. He is a freak. They were just showing some highlights of him up on the MLB Network for his delivery the last few years. He couldn't hit the side of a building. Now, all of a sudden, he's Mr. Precision. I want to get to more on him in the next segment. So let's just hold that thought for a moment. Matthew in Florida. Go ahead, Matthew.
Don't worry, Maz. I got something negative for you. It's okay.
Yep, go.
There's something wrong with how Alex Cora is managing right now. I understand his philosophy is just win series, which works in the dog days. But when you come down the stretch of a long marathon, you got to start sprinting. And the fact that he did not pinch hit for Nate Eaton when a right-handed pitcher came in and put Jarren Duran in the game, and the fact that he brought Jordan Hicks in showed that he did not prioritize this game the way he did the three previous. He knew they had the series wrapped, and he wanted to give his guys some rest. That's not how you need to be managing right now. Every game matters as we approach the final stretch.
So, Matthew, I often feel the same way, but he rolled the dice and he won. Again, now look, Chapman didn't pitch today either. I hate seeing Hicks come into the game. But when you win a bunch of games in a row, there are going to be those occasions where you've got to put someone in a spot that they're not accustomed to pitching in. So we can bitch about Hicks being in the game in the 7th inning, and we can certainly bitch about the fact that Steven Matz was closing it out in the 9th. They walked the minefield and they won. So now look, you can't pitch him every day. You can't pitch Chapman every day. You can't pitch Whitlock every day. We would all love it if they could. But Cora got through the game and they won. So I have a hard time dumping on them when they've won 7 out of 8. They just swept a 4-game series and they're winning 1-run games and they're getting contributions from up and down the roster. Part of the way you win in the regular season is to spread out the workload so that if and when you get to the playoffs, your best players are ready to go and they're rested. Right now, I think they're in pretty good shape. Not great shape, pretty good shape. Quickly, Tim in South Boston. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Maz. First time, long time. I've been ecstatic about the Sox all year. The only qualm that I have, and I want to touch on real quick, is their attention to the small ball. I mean, it's been an issue all season. They've been striking out with runners in scoring position with no outs, 1 out all season. I just think I know Cora's not been a small ball guy. He's never been a bunter, which is totally fine with me. But just getting the ball in play with runners on with nobody out is just, I think it's going to be an issue come down the stretch here. So I don't know if there's an emphasis in the coaching staff that could help that out, but I think it's something that needs to be addressed.
So, Tim, they've gotten better at it as the year has gone on. I agree with you. It's still there. The problem's not solved. But look, it happened last night. They had 1st and 3rd, nobody out in the 8th inning, and they had their best hitters up. Roman Anthony struck out. Alex Bregman struck out. Trevor Story grounded out. They didn't get the run home. And then the next inning, Rafaela hit the home run, and everybody forgot about it. So I agree. But the one part of it I disagree with you on is that Cora doesn't like small ball. Cora wants them to put the ball in play. He's been screaming about it for 3 years. So now, I know you say judge them on what they do, not on what they say, but I believe that Cora believes in the fundamentals. Cora's a utility guy. He grew up in a different era. I think he believes in the fundamentals. The problem now is that analytics run the organization. And when the Red Sox were losing, I think Cora was rebelling against it, and Cora was throwing the organization under the bus every now and then. So somewhere in there, you have to have buy-in too. So Cora can be upset about the direction of the organization, but he also has to buy in at some level. So do I think Cora, detests small ball, as you say? No, I don't. I think that nobody plays it anymore. Let me just say this quickly. Felger turned me on to this story that Kenny Rosenthal wrote recently about the Milwaukee Brewers, who have the best record in the sport. And you know what the general theme of the story is? That the Brewers are doing all the things that baseball teams used to do, and the rest of baseball doesn't believe in them because they think the Brewers are just lucky. Okay, the Brewers believe in putting the ball in play, stealing bases, playing defense, throwing strikes. They're among the worst teams in the majors when it comes to home runs, and yet they have the best record of the sport. How can that be? And it's because they play the game. That's what the game is. The Brewers play it. But the reason I'm telling you this is that it's not just the Red Sox. The whole sport is like that now. Nobody wants to actually play the fundamentals of the game. The Red Sox fundamentals are getting better. They're not great. They're better than they were early in the year. And the team's clearly got confidence, and their top 3 starters and their 2 best relievers are among the best in baseball right now. Whether or not it stays that way, I don't know. As always, I told you, I do have concerns. So I want to get to Aroldis Chapman when we come back. He's not one of my concerns, but that final at-bat last night is worth revisiting. And then I'll tell you what a concern that occurred to me today and that I think is becoming more real. We'll get to that.
Chapman. With another 3-2 to Mayo. And in there for strike 3. 99 to end the ball game. That is 14 consecutive hitless appearances now. Amazing. 41 batters in a row without giving up a hit from Aroldis Chapman. The man is phenomenal. He's a machine. When he comes into the game, it's over. He's just 99, dots it, wins the battle. And he's been doing this now for a very, very long time. His last 34 games, he's given up one run. The sensational Red Sox win it dramatically, and it goes from one that would have been a pretty sour defeat into a really fun W tonight.
Well, I tell you, Bayo I thought was fantastic. There was some miscommunication in the outfield, but that man there, Cedar Rafaela, much like we saw before the All-Star break, and you're starting to see some signs that he's swinging it again. That was a big hit from Cedar. Great job by Chapman. Bayo was fantastic, and you take 3 straight here down in Baltimore.
It's the way it ended last night, Aroldis Chapman. Before I get to the particulars, John in the car wants to talk about Chapman, so let me punch up John here right away. John, what do you got?
Tony, he has gone no hit for 14 innings. That's unheard of in any timeline of baseball. The guy is just, to me, he is Cy Young worthy. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. He is having a better year than Eckersley did when he won the Cy Young. The only thing that could take away from him is the fact that Crochet is on this team. But to be honest, Chapman has had a better year at what he does than Crochet has at what he does. And I think that should legitimately be talked about by whoever makes those decisions.
So, John, look, it's an interesting thing. I always think that innings are everything. So if you give me the choice of a starter or a reliever for the Cy Young Award, I'm always going to pick the starter.
Tony, he's had a longer stretch of, per Alex Barth, he's had a longer stretch of scoreless, hitless baseball than Eric Gagne did the year he won the Cy Young.
Okay, so look, and again, I don't dispute any of that. I'm sure all those stats are true. I'm telling you that most times relievers win it in a year where there's no clear candidate from the starters, or there isn't a dominant starter or something like that. And I'm not telling you that those relievers weren't great. They were. There have been a handful of them over the years that have won the Cy Young Award. And if you want to tell me that you think Chapman is worthy, my answer is yes. He's been out of this world good.
To amplify your point about Gagne, number 2 in the voting that year for Cy Young was Jason Schmidt. Number 3 was Mark Pryor, and 4 was Russ Ortiz.
Okay, so like it's just a lot has to go right for a reliever to win it. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying they're any less important, but they do have a separate award, the Fireman of the Year award or whatever they call it now. That is those guys can get that, and Chapman is in the running for that. He's been that good. And I don't think it's wrong to throw his name in the Cy Young conversation. He's been that good. To me, if you were to ask me, the most surprising performers on the Red Sox team this year, Aroldis Chapman would be at or near the top of the list. Lucas Giolito would be there too. What has happened with Chapman to me is absolutely, positively stunning. Aroldis Chapman is 37 years old. He is in his 16th major league season. Over the last 5 years before this one, he was averaging 6 walks per 9 innings. 6 walks. And at age 37, did anyone really think he was going to change? Did anyone get excited when they signed him during the offseason? Because I don't think they did.
We're all mad about it.
And in fact, I remember, I'm not afraid to tell you here and now, I hated it. The idea that they were going to close with Aroldis Chapman, I thought wasn't just playing with fire. It was burning down your house. I thought it was complete suicide. And I wasn't alone. Here is some of the national commentary, if you remember, from our buddy Chris Mad Dog Russo.
Chapman stinks. They're going to hate that. Chapman stunk for Pittsburgh. I mean, they must have not watched the games. Breslow must have not watched. I watched. I watched. Believe me, he was terrible for Pittsburgh. Terrible. Kansas City got rid of him. All these teams got rid of him.
Can't throw a strike.
40 pitches an inning.
Okay, so and again, I'm not the least bit ashamed to play that because I'm in there chiming in with Mad Dog. And by the way, I'm not mocking Mad Dog. Most of us felt that way. last night, this is amazing when you really think of it. Last night, Chapman on the final at bat of the game went 12 pitches and struck the guy out. And watching it, I found myself saying, when's the last time he went 12 pitches with anybody? This guy can't throw strikes well enough to get to 12 pitches in an at bat. Like, you understand my point? He'll walk the guy in 7 pitches before he gets to 12. That's just who he is. What do you got, Jimmy?
Can I hit the breaking news sounder?
Oh, yes, please do.
This is breaking sports news.
Powered by Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
On 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Per Ken Rosenthal,
yes.
Tony Maserati?
Yes.
Blue check mark, although you could buy it now. Red Sox top pitching prospect Peyton Tolley expected to make his major league debut tomorrow night at Fenway Park against the Pirates' Paul Skeens.
Okay.
Sources tell The Athletic.
Oh, so there we go. Now we're talking.
Now we're cooking, Maz.
Peyton Tolley making his major league debut tonight. Carabas was right. Hashtag Carabas was right.
As usual.
So there you go. There's something to talk about this weekend. Alex Cora. I wanted to get to Tolley, too. He's on my list here, so let's do it now. Alex Cora was asked about Peyton Tolley. Jimmy, we have this cut, don't we? This is Cora when asked about who was going to pitch tomorrow.
One more crack at tomorrow starter before we go.
Swing and miss again.
Okay, so Cora wouldn't answer the question after the game. Kenny Rosenthal now saying it's Peyton Tolley. And I would tell you, don't just sweep this one under the rug. Carabas thinks that they are looking at Peyton Tolley as a potential addition to the rotation, that he could jump in there and fill that spot that has been vacated now that Richard Fitz has gone down with an injury, and the Red Sox really don't have a fourth starter. Walker Buehler is not coming out of that bullpen. Now, Tolley will make his debut tomorrow night against Paul Skeens. Wow, talk about a not exactly a soft opening. In case you don't know much about Peyton Tolley, I think he's made only 3 or 4 starts at AAA. I don't think it's much more than that. The first couple of innings of the first start was bumpy, and he's been good.
It was the first 7 hitters of his first start in Worcester. I was there. He got hit pretty hard. His defense didn't help him. But after that, Maz, he was nails. He was electric. Fastball was good movement. All of his off-speed pitches were really good. Top notch. But that first 7 hitters, he got rocked around pretty good, and his defense didn't help him.
Jimmy, do you have his overall numbers right there?
Stand by.
So, because the last time I looked, his ERA at AAA was 4.26. But again,
if you take out those first 7 hitters, It's been better than that.
Okay, so and let me just tell you, he's only made a few starts at AAA.
3 starts actually.
Okay, so this is borderline.
I think that's by design, though, Tony, is that they've limited his pitch count while down there because they're hoping that he was going to have some bullets for September for a September call-up.
Okay, but then here we go. This is the real thing.
Oh, I love this.
And we asked this question yesterday, how often do you see a team bring a guy up? And I say a team, other than the Tampa Bay Rays, who apparently have done this twice. But how you rarely see a team bring a guy up to start in September and then start him in the playoffs. And it could be that the Red Sox just want to get this kid's feet wet so that he has a chance to make the club out of camp next year and be in their rotation. Tolley was drafted in the 2nd round a year ago. He's 6'6", left-handed, and his fastball doesn't light up the radar gun. And I'm not telling you it's soft. He throws in the mid-90s. But it plays faster because he's so freaking big that his release point is closer to home plate. So if you think of it in the terms of, where the extension is when he lets the ball go, instead of at 66 feet, he's at 59. So 94 then becomes 97. It's like the Little League, when they show you guys throwing 80 miles an hour from 40 feet, the formula to translate that into 60 feet or what it is like for a player at 40 feet, it's like 97. Whatever it is. And I'm just throwing the numbers out there, but you get the idea. So there's an effect like that with Tolley. His secondary stuff, according to all the reports, and Carabas said this earlier in the week, needs work. slider and a changeup. I don't know if it's a split or a change, but whatever it is, it needs work. But his fastball's legit. As a number 4 or 5 starter, even if he can give you 4 innings, keep you in the game, it's worth it. So we'll get a look at it. And I would tell you that for the Red Sox, if this kid is in their plans for the playoffs, unprecedented. I don't ever remember the Red Sox doing this. Ever. I remember them bringing guys up in September, getting them a taste of the big leagues, but not with the idea of using them in the playoffs. Maybe they're going to do that with this kid. And boy, Felger said this today, and it's so true. Everything is coming up Craig Breslow right now. They didn't add Joe Ryan at the deadline. Brian Bale's pitching out of his mind. Lucas Giolito continues to pitch well. Steven Matz today closed out the game. Whitlock and Chapman look unbeatable in the 8th and 9th innings. And it feels like every move they made or didn't make was the right thing to do. So, the Chapman thing, I'll just wrap up quickly by saying Aroldis Chapman, again, had 12 pitches in that final at-bat last night. I didn't think he'd get to a 12-pitch at-bat in his career. So I had someone look it up. He has only thrown more than 12 pitches in an at-bat once in his career. It was 13. 13 pitches. And it makes sense because he can't throw strikes well enough to get that deep. Last night he went 12 and struck the guy out. 9 of the final 10 pitches were strikes. What a story Aroldis Chapman has been. What a revelation. I think he's been the best closer in baseball this year. Incredible. And I thought he sucked when they picked him up. So, again, you can't predict what's going to happen. I did say there's one thing I'm concerned about. We'll come back and I'll tell you what that was. We'll send you off on your way with a bit of negativity. How's that? Don't go anywhere.
Was it a 4 days rest for you? I know it's that point in the season, but did that have any effect or any?
No, I didn't feel like it. I typically prefer the 4 days rest. We were looking at it going into the start, though, and I think it had been like 2 months just because the way off days have been for us. But no, I felt really good. Even for the most part, I know I hit 2 guys on some bad misses, but I felt like my command was fairly there. Execution percentage-wise, I haven't rewatched like the video in its entirety, but it had to be around 90% for the most part. I was missing on the right side of the plate, so I felt really good about that.
That's Garrett Crochet. And you heard him say there at the beginning, and this is something that I looked up, so I'm glad someone asked it after the game. See, I can actually praise the beat guys, too. I think that was Jen McCaffrey asking the question. But when I looked up Garrett Crochet's game log, he has gotten 5, 6, or more days rest, basically every start going back to June. It's been a couple of months. You heard him say that. Today, he only got 4. The Red Sox didn't have any off days on this trip. And they went right onto the road from home. So they played 4 in a row against the Yankees and then 4 in a row against the Orioles. So Crochet had to pitch on regular turn. They all did. 4 days rest. And he did not look like the same guy out there today. Now, he only walked 1, but actually, I don't think he walked anybody now that I think of it. But he hit 2 batters, and he was not sharp. And he gave up a home run to the number 9 hitter. They got the lead back, and he gave it back. So, it was one of those games where I sort of thought, again, I expect a lot of an ace. You don't pay him to, Felger mocks me for this, but you don't pay him to lose 1-0 or 2-1. You pay him to win 1-0 or 2-1. And Crochet today did not look like that guy. Now, they won the game. He got a no decision, but I would keep an eye on it. A lot of people have talked about the wear and tear on Crochet, and they're worried that he's going to fade down the stretch. I would tell you that for me, today was the first real evidence I saw of it. 4 days rest. He hasn't done it in a couple of months, and he had to grind his way through 6 innings. I wasn't sure he was going to get in the 6th. So he was up in the 80s, I think, 80s in terms of pitch count when he went back out for the 6th inning. I don't know how many he finished with. I'm guessing it was right around 100, maybe a little less because he had an easy 6th inning, I think it was. So maybe it was in the low to mid-90s. But that was the first sign of evidence for me that all those innings could be piling up. And as much as, what's his name, John in the car called in and said that in a lot of ways Chapman's more worthy of the Cy Young than Crochet. If you lose Crochet, you will then understand his importance. if you don't already. Quickly, Rich in Millbury. Rich, go ahead.
Yes. Hey, the Red Sox success last month is because they got rid of the deadwood. Why are we still hanging on to Yoshida?
Yeah, because they're paying him $18 million a year. That's the right answer. Now, what can they do with him? I don't know. Rosters expand a little on September 1st, so I think you can only add like 3 guys now. I don't remember what that rule has been changed to. You used to be able to add like 10 or something close to it, and you stack your dugout with minor leaguers. It was ridiculous. But you can expand the rosters to 30, maybe. I'd have to look. So maybe you can add 3 or 4 guys. So you can certainly keep them on your bench. But I would venture to guess you're not going to see a lot of Masataka Yoshida. Where he is going forward, my guess is the Red Sox will probably end up eating some money and moving him to a team over the winter. I just don't think he has a place here. I think he could be a player in a small market, but not at $18 million. You're going to have to eat a good chunk of that salary, and maybe you can get something back for him if you do that.
Hope he has a good playoff. Hope he has a good clutch hit in there where he shows he's got something.
So, Jimmy, I'm going to tell you, I don't think he's even going to be on the playoff roster, if I had to guess. But whatever, I understand your point. I think we've seen the last of Masataka Yoshida. Pretty much, that's my opinion. Anyway, Alex Barth is coming in. You doing the night show instead of filling in for Joe?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. Alex Barth will have you here for the balance of the night. Kevin Majori's got your headlines. We'll catch you tomorrow.
From the Tell Your Time Studios, WBC FM and HD1.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray for Boston Sports.